Coming up, one man's story of battling grief as we approach the 2-year anniversary of the flood.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. This weekend marks 2 years since deadly floods devastated parts of eastern Kentucky. But for the survivors, not a day goes by that they can forget. 45 people lost their lives, one of them being Vanessa Baker. Her body has never been found. Kelsey Soto shares one man's story of the daily reminder of a broken heart.
Just like an old man.
You got it.
63-year-old.
These days are all hurry up and wait for Farmer Baker.
I still feel young anyway. That's my house, I reckon, whenever they get it done.
As a young boy growing up on the River Caney, he dreamed of building a future with the girl next door, Vanessa.
Oh, that's good times. Sure was. Good times.
And one day, she finally gave in.
People always told me, said, Ed, that won't last. I said, you all won't last. You won't last 6 months. It's almost 40 years. I couldn't have found a better woman, I don't believe. Joe couldn't have.
The pair raised 2 boys. They welcomed grandchildren and always weathered the storms of life together until one day in the summer of 2022.
It washed everything.
Floods raged through the River Caney, leaving nothing but the memories created there.
And the last words that come out of her mouth said, I can't swim. I looked around, she was gone. And I looked up, God said, if you took her, take me. He said, he just didn't, he had a purpose for me.
Farmer hasn't stopped looking for his childhood sweetheart.
I'm still searching. I did. Every bit of the money I got from my house, and like, I put into an excavator, and I go down there and dig for her.
So when people say life is so hard there, why do they stay? We stay because of each other, because we love one another and we need each other to have a good life and to be happy.
Yeah, this is my room, I reckon.
Yeah. Now, almost ready to move into a new home.
I don't know where I can get a king-size bed in there or not.
He didn't know he'd one day need.
I feel sorry for people that have to start over. I do, because I know how it feels.
There may never be another Vanessa.
You might fill her space, but you can't take her place.
I feel like she is kind of still here with us because, you know, you feel that love between Farmer and his wife. It's still there, it still exists.
Dream of her every night, Jesus smiling. I asked her where she's at, but she'll never tell me.
But one day, they will find each other once again.
I'm gonna be satisfied up here. And I know she's with me all the time too. I know she'll be with me.
In Perry County, Kelsey Soto, WKYT.
The Housing Development Alliance is working to build Farmer's home. It should be ready at the end of August or early September. Tomorrow, Governor Andy Beshear will travel to Floyd, Knott, Perry, and Breathitt counties for events related to the flood anniversary, and we'll have extensive coverage beginning on First at 4.
Temperatures today were in the 70s and 80s, and we did have a little bit of rain push through the area. Numbers for today played out like this: 86 in Hazard, 86 Jackson, 88 in Irvin. Lexington and Louisville made it to 90, 88 in Somerset. Monticello made it to 85, 81 was the high in Grundy. And right now we're seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Louisville's the lone exception, 81 degrees, 77 Monticello, 72 Somerset, 70 in Williamsburg, 67 in Clintwood, as well as Grundy, 10 warmer towards Charleston. There's live pinpoint Doppler radar. You can see that line of rain, or what's left of it, pushing through portions of eastern Kentucky, now pushing its way into portions of Buchanan, Dickinson, Wise, and Lee County. So that's all in terms of rain as of this hour. When you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Again, tomorrow, not too bad. We do have partly to mostly cloudy skies in the forecast. I'll have your first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. 15 counties in Kentucky are included in the latest federal disaster declaration following the Memorial Day weekend storms. They include Whitley, Knox, and Clay counties, among others in western Kentucky. It's the second time in 2 months Whitley County has been approved for assistance, but people dealing with damage will have to apply again.
A lot of residents had not fully repaired and recouped from the April storm, and then we had a storm in May. So we had the same path that the storm took, and then it was more extensive and a longer path that caused a whole lot more damage to residents.
You can register for assistance at disasterassistance.gov. 30 years after a southern Kentucky woman and her brother were found dead in a fence row, their family is still working to figure out what happened. In July 1994, 21-year-old Linda Gibson and 4-year-old Cody Lee Garrett were murdered. Police say it happened after someone picked them up near the gas station Food Mart that's now a Valero on Bourne Avenue. In the last 3 decades, there have been no arrests.
I know people out here knows, they still yet know, you know, they still won't talk about it because I believe that the killers are still alive.
The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office website says people who have information that could lead to an arrest could be eligible for a cash reward. With President Joe Biden officially out of the race, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are turning up the campaign heat against each other. CBS's Skyler Henry is in Washington with more on Campaign 2024.
And that I am running to become President of the United States of America.
After speaking to one of the nation's largest teachers' unions, Vice President Kamala Harris said she's ready to take on former President Donald Trump.
I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage, and so I'm ready. Let's go.
Trump has said he would prefer to shift a debate previously set for September 10th on ABC to Fox, but indicated he would be willing to face off with Harris more than once. As next month's Democratic National Convention in Chicago fast approaches, Vice President Harris is pondering her choice for a running mate.
The only way that I would consider accepting anything else is if I believe that I can help this state and this country more in a different way.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is believed to be among the key contenders. Voters in the state reflected on the importance of the November election.
Let your voice be heard, because, you know, vote is important. I know a lot of people are like, oh, my vote don't count. Every vote counts, I promise you.
Former President Donald Trump, meanwhile, railed against Harris in a TV interview.
She's the most radical person probably that we've had in office, let alone the office of the presidency.
There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different.
While the Harris for President campaign released its first official video Thursday featuring Beyonce's song Freedom. In it, Harris says freedom is what is at stake in this election. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
CBS News has learned former President Barack Obama is planning on backing Vice President Harris, quote, soon. That's according to a source who also says Obama has been in regular touch with Harris and believes the vice president is off to an impressive start. The National Pan-Hellenic Council, the Divine Nine, announced an unprecedented voter registration campaign. Within hours of doing so, thousands of black women raised more than $1 million for Kamala Harris's campaign. Tonight, Grayson Passmore talked to a local political expert about these efforts.
The Divine Nine represents over 2.5 million members from historically black fraternities and sororities with chapters in every major U.S. city. And it has significant history of mobilizing political participation.
We're seeing this new energy, and I think younger voters are incredibly engaged, and also seeing, you know, members of the Divine Nine being engaged as well, right? They're joining that.
Along with Vice President Kamala Harris, Dr. Renetta Davis is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She says with Harris running for president, they've seen the intergenerational organizing of black women and men.
Representation matters so much. And so for a lot of us, for black women, seeing someone who looks like us, right? That's the thing that serves it's galvanizing. It's like, wow, I see that, I can be that.
After Biden officially stepped down on Sunday, More than 44,000 Black women joined a Zoom call that raised more than $1.5 million for Harris's campaign.
Harris's emergence as the likely presidential candidate has caused some voters who would not have been paying attention to get excited and pay attention.
Political expert Dr. Stephen Voss says the excitement Harris is generating among people of color could result in a higher turnout in some communities in what could be a close election.
It's not clear that Harris is going to be any more appealing as a political leader to young voters, and especially young progressive voters, than Biden was. That's a choice Harris will be making in coming days.
In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Back here in eastern Kentucky, a sea of blue painted Main Street in downtown Whitesburg this evening. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how a march symbolized strength and unity through any obstacle.
Organizers with Help End Addiction for Life, or HEAL, set up an event each year.
And so we gather every July to get together, have resources available for those in recovery, and to march through downtown to show our support for those in recovery and their families.
Other organizations joined in the march.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Collaboration amongst key organizations is crucial in fighting the addiction epidemic.
Symbolizing strength and recovery from addiction and other obstacles in life. At the end of the march, participants saw a project also symbolizing recovery, the newly painted Whitesburg Stairs.
And the steps turned out more beautiful than I could have imagined.
Ribbon was cut as they celebrated the project. The hard work was completed.
It's been wonderful to see community come together for this, whether they painted a step, done priming, or just put their thumbprint on it.
And the climb began, putting the finishing touches on a march showing unity. In Whitesburg, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The design for the Whitesburg Stairs was created by Letcher County artist Lacey Hale. They lead up to Kane Kitchen. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, there are new marrow donors today, thanks to an event in Hindman.
And in the world of weather, we had a line of showers and thunderstorms push through the area, albeit small. But how does the weekend look? I'll have that answer in a few minutes.
Hey everyone, it's Kristen Mulcahy from Appalachian Wireless to tell you about our Christmas in July giveaway, where you can win $250 a week while also being registered for our $2,500 grand prize on August 2nd. Visit an Appalachian Wireless retail and authorized dealer location to register and to find out how you can win big this July. Keep listening to hear more about opportunities to save at Appalachian Wireless, because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Why is this man so happy? He's got Advantage Checking from Community Trust Bank. CTB's got him covered with credit monitoring and identity theft protection.